Hey everyone, it's officially your favorite month that you didn't know existed. Shrektober, all month long on Al Pacino's prison scene. I'm Thomas, and Jake is my co-host. This is Shrektober.
Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. I was looking kind of
Wrong.
dumb with the finger at. She was looking
there you
kind
go.
of dumb with
All
the
right,
finger at the
You're
in
done.
the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years stop coming and they don't 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 stop coming.
All right, thank you. So that was, of course, All Star, the song that you know it. But this is Shrektober, all month long. Al Pacino's prison scene is going Shrek, baby. So, if you haven't seen the movie Shrek,
what are you doing?
You're lying.
What are you doing?
You've seen it. And so Shrektober actually sort of began last year when Jake and I watched Shrek on Halloween. And
at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
So it was probably actually.
So it's like November 1st, really.
Yeah.
But it's the same day until you go to sleep.
And we determined that Shrek is the movie that everyone should see before they die. If everyone can only see one movie,
we did decide that
it has to be Shrek. And Shrek is a movie that I think actually goes against what this podcast is about. I think Shrek objectively does have a meaning, but it has become a meme, and no one takes it seriously anymore. So today, it's not a meme anymore. Today, Shrek is life.
Shrek's love.
No.
Shrek is life.
Yes.
All right. Well, Thomas, let's hop into that recap.
Right.
Honestly, why are we even doing a recap?
Because it's Shrek, baby. We gotta remind the people that pretend like they haven't seen the movie, even though.
All right.
So we know you have.
For this minute and a half, forget that you've seen Shrek, and then remember that you've seen Shrek.
So Shrek, it begins with the song that Jake so graciously gave us his cover of, All Star. Shrek is reading a storybook, and he's like, whatever. And he rips a page out, and he wipes his little booty, and then All Star kicks in, and then the movie takes off. And then, a little bit after that, we see all these fairy tale creatures being displaced by the evil, little Lord Farquaad. And they all get put in Shrek's swamp. And Shrek's like, hey man, get out of my swamp. I don't want you here. But then Donkey's like, Shrek, I'll be your friend. And Shrek is like, I don't need any friends. I'm an ogre. Nobody loves me.
I'm an ogre. Rah!
So he goes to Farquaad. Is like, bro, get your duties out of my swamp. And Farquaad's like, okay, go on this quest. And Shrek's like, all right, I'll do it. And he goes on the quest, and he gets the princess. And the princess is like, you're ugly. And Shrek is like, yeah. And so, but the princess is ugly at night, too. So then they go back to Lord Farquaad. And then Farquaad's like, haha, I can be king now. And then Fiona's like, but wait, I love Shrek. And Shrek runs in the door, and he's like, I object. And then they kiss, and Fiona floats up in, like she does. And she turns into an ogre. And Shrek's like, you okay? And she's like, yeah, but I'm supposed to be beautiful. And Shrek says, you are beautiful. And then All Star comes back, baby, with I'm a believer. So that's Shrek. I didn't talk about Donkey much, but he's off, doing stuff with a dragon. That's not safe for work. So we're not going to talk about that.
All right. Before we get into this very special first episode of Shrektober, let's hear a word from our super special sponsors of this week's episode, More Piano Services. All your freaking piano needs. You got a little key that's all twanged up? Hit up More Piano Services. You need some restoration done because your wood's looking a little funky? Hit up More Piano Services. Any kind of piano needs you need, hit up More Piano Services. They do piano tuning, voicing, regulation, repair, and restoration around the Birmingham area. So hit up More Piano Services at 205-810-06 0012. Now let's get into the Shrekness.
So, I'm going to start this off by talking about the soundtrack because I feel like, especially All Star, there's a lot of memes that come out of the Shrek soundtrack, and if you've probably noticed, I like to talk about the soundtrack and the music that goes into a movie because, in my opinion, it is the most important part of a film because it can make you feel things. And Shrek's soundtrack is perfect every single step of the way.
So let's talk about what songs we have in there. Right off the bat, All Star.
Well, I have a list.
Well, let me, because I'm going to do it from my head. We have All Star. All right, we have Hallelujah, and we have I'm a Believer.
All right, there's a lot more than that. So I'm going to list them off in the order that they happen in the movie and let you know what scene that they happen in. So that way you can know that they were the perfect song for that scene. So as Jake said, we have All Star, which opens the film. And Shrek is being his ogre self. And I'll get into All Star a little bit later because I think there's some meaning in there that all you kids are not picking up on. Second song in the film, Bad Reputation. Which plays when Shrek stomps all of Farquaad's knights.
Oh!
Hands down, my favorite part of the movie. And that's obviously Shrek's got a bad reputation. Then you have the Pina Colada song.
If you like Pina Colada.
Which plays when Farquaad chooses Fiona.
Number 3. Pick number 3.
And that one may seem like a weird choice. But if you look at the lyrics of the Pina Colada song, it's actually a song about a guy whose marriage isn't working, but he sees a newspaper ad. So he goes out to cheat on his wife, but then the girl he's going to cheat on his wife with is actually his wife. So it's like about this mixed signals, people not really understanding what true love's about song, which perfectly encapsulates Farquaad in that situation. The next song in the film is I'm on My Way, which plays when Shrek and Donkey are going to Fiona's castle.
Like the Rusted Roots?
I don't know. Maybe.
On my way.
No, it's not that one.
Okay, I didn't think so.
But the song is called I'm on My Way, and clearly they're on their way. Next song after that is called My Beloved Monster, which plays...
I actually wrote that one down, too.
Right after Fiona pulls the arrow out of Shrek's butt.
Yes.
And there's a montage of them being real affectionate with each other.
And they catch the spider webs, eat it like cotton candy, and they somehow blow up a frog for a balloon. I don't know how that works, but they do that too.
Movie magic, baby.
Or ogre magic.
And then you have the song, You Belong to Me, which I almost didn't catch. It plays when Shrek and Fiona are eating weed rats by the fire.
Yes, okay.
And they almost kiss. But it plays subtly in the background behind their conversation, so it's easy to miss.
I actually added that on Spotify when I heard it.
And then you, of course, have Alleluia, which is the sad montage of the film. A scene that, if you have seen Shrek, this scene is playing in your head right now.
Watching it back this time, Thomas, that scene got me, man.
I've got more to talk about that scene later. It's magnifique. But yeah, that's a sad montage scene. And then, of course, to round out the movie, you have I'm a Believer, which plays when Shrek and Fiona get married at the end. But that's not where the soundtrack ends, ladies and gentlemen, because then we have the credits, in which 4 different songs play that all have to do with the themes of honeymoons and happily ever after. So these songs, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with. You have Stay Home by Self. And you can look up the lyrics at home if you want to. But it's basically a song about settling down and just staying home. Because there's nothing better than that. Second song in the credits is called Best Years of Our Lives by the Baha Men, which is about being so in love that when you look into your loved one's eyes, you see the best years of your lives. That melts my heart, man. Third song is called Like Wow by Leslie Carter. And it's about it's about having that indescribable kind of love. And the only way you can think of how to describe it is to say, like wow. And the final song to round out the movie is called It Is You I Have Loved. And it's about finding the one, man. So, you may beam on Shrek's soundtrack, but find me another movie soundtrack that perfectly lines up with every single scene that has a song accompanied with it.
You know, we mentioned how Megamind's the best soundtrack,
Shrek.
but I think that one website you looked at, out of probably trillions of websites that exist, I think that website's wrong, Thomas.
It's Shrek.
It's Shrek. And you know what? I'm glad that you bring this up because for the average viewer, what genre would you say that Shrek falls into?
Just Disney movies.
Family comedy, adventure, right?
Yes.
Well, that's dead wrong. You know what this movie is? This movie is a late night rom-com.
You know, something interesting about that, I was looking at the Wikipedia page, and I've got more trivia for you listeners later. Ooh, just you wait! But I found out that the director of the film actually wanted it to be more adult. And then the producer or founder of Dreamworks, Jeffrey Katzenberg, was like,
I mean, it's already pretty adult.
I know.
Like,
are you compensating for something?
Or what is the one you sent me? When Donkey's about to say that he has a long schlong.
Yeah, and the Shrek just like punches him into the ground.
Yeah.
So they skirt the line, but they never actually cross it, I don't think, as far as being adult, in air quotes. But Shrek is a movie for everyone. Not just the little kids, not just the really big kids that pretend like they know what's going on. It's for everyone.
You know what? I think I may disagree with you.
All right, who do you think is for?
I think it is for the big kids who think they're too cool. Now, I think, okay, let me rephrase that. I do think it's for everyone, but I think the people who need to watch it are the big kids who think they're too cool for everyone.
Why?
Shrek just deals a lot with, like, what life is, you know? And, like, I think Shrek's superficial meaning has to do with, like, you know, thinking that nobody wants you. And I think when you get into that big kid because you're too cool for everybody phase, is like, you're like, I don't need anybody. I don't need you, Mom. I have my own car. I can go out and do what I want.
So you're saying they're Shrek.
Yeah.
And Donkey's their mom.
Mm-hmm. And Fiona is their goldfish.
Oh. My goldfish died.
That's why you don't have your Fiona, Thomas.
Dang. So you say that Shrek, you think that Shrek is about feeling like you don't belong. Well,
no. Shrek is about knowing you don't belong.
Well, I wrote down before this movie started, because when we watched it almost a year ago today, give or take, we talked about, or I picked up on themes of racism.
Yes.
And prejudices.
Yeah. And I was actually thinking about that.
Being aligned in.
Watching this time.
So obviously you have Farquaad kicking out the fairy tale creatures.
Yeah.
Which could arguably be seen as racist because he is not a fairy tale creature. Therefore, he doesn't want anything to deal with them.
That we know of.
But you also have everyone's prejudice against Shrek, which Shrek himself plays into, like you were saying. He pushes everyone away.
Especially at the very beginning, the opening montage. Yes,
he thinks nobody wants him. Like, for instance, when one of the first scenes of the movie, these villagers come to Shrek's swamp, and they say something along the lines of, he's going to grind our bones up. And Shrek comes up behind them, and he's like, well, you're talking about a giant.
Well, actually, that would be a giant. No, ogres. What does he say?
I don't know. You're quoting him.
Ogres. We'll grind your bones into a stew and suck out your eyeballs. Stuff like that.
Done.
Yeah.
So throughout the movie, Shrek deals with this. And he tells Donkey several times that he can't be loved. And you even see Fiona dealing with the same thing.
Well, there's a super obvious line is when they are looking out at the moon. The first time we see Fiona's transformation. And he's talking to Donkey. And he's like, they judge me before they even know me.
Right. And so I don't know. We talked about this. Megamind is obviously another DreamWorks film. We talked about this theme of like the class divide and oppression being in Megamind. So I'd be curious to know if a lot of DreamWorks movies carry this theme of A, not being accepted, or B, having everyone turn the world against you.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Does it?
Yeah. Toothless. And Winston or whatever his name is. Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah, that's another DreamWorks
So
movie.
I don't know. Maybe that's a theme that DreamWorks likes to run with. I don't know. But this movie, upon any level of analysis, you will find that it is a blatant deconstruction of Disney, the Walt Disney Corporation.
Interesting.
And it goes a lot further than you might think. So obviously, first off, you have Duloc, which is Lord Farquaad's kingdom. And there's like that little song where they almost say a bad word, but they don't.
What was it? Wipe your hands, wipe your face.
Yeah, something about the grass. And then, wipe your face. So you have that, and then you have like the scene immediately before that with like the dude who's got like the giant Lord Farquaad head, and he's like running through the line, but then Shrek doesn't run through the line; he just barrels through the thing,
and then the guy falls over.
Yeah, so that's making fun of Disney's long lines. Then you also have,
well, I mean, Duloc is Disney.
Yeah,
you didn't say that.
Oh, well,
I understood what you meant.
It was implied, but then you also have the fact that Fiona is a princess, and she says, "Where is it?" She says, "I'm a princess," and this is when she's in her ogre form. She's talking to Donkey. She says, "I'm a princess, but this isn't how princesses are supposed to look."
Come on, Fiona.
That belief and that ideology is something that's perpetuated by Disney and their princess stories because they're all super skinny, objectively beautiful.
Name me an ugly princess. Name me an ugly Disney princess. Wrong.
Boo.
Wrong.
She's a child.
Is Monsters Inc. Disney?
Yeah, it's Pixar.
Well, yeah, but she's not a princess.
She's my little princess. But anyways, that's obviously taking a jab at Disney. But all that's in the movie, ladies and gentlemen.
You're impressed with yourself, aren't you?
You're not ready for this. Well, I've known this for a long time. Me and my dad discussed it. Okay. So, founder. I'm going to go back a little. Here's a short little history lesson.
Is this your 2.5 pages of history?
No, this is just like one paragraph.
Okay.
So this is a little history lesson for all you Shaggy Goose Egg Boys out there who think you know Shrek. You think it's just a meme. Well, it's not. Okay.
You know what, ladies and gents? Thomas is about to Shrek you because it's all Ogre now.
So Jeffrey Katzenberg, founder of Dreamworks, used to work for the Walt Disney Corporation under a man named Michael Eisner.
Disney.
Who, if you look him up, bears a striking resemblance to Lord Farquaad.
Oh! I know about this.
What happened was Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg had worked together for like 20 years, even before they got to Disney. And then Katzenberg was up for a promotion, but Eisner didn't give it to him. So Katzenberg said, "You know what? I'll just make my own company." And he left Disney and founded Dreamworks. So eventually he made Shrek. And there was still a lot of bad blood between him and Katzenberg. So it's heavily rumored. It hasn't been confirmed by anyone, but it's heavily rumored.
All right, children, Lord Farquaad, you might want to close your ears for this part, children.
It's heavily rumored that Lord Farquaad is based on Michael Eisner, who is short in stature, and if you look up two pictures of them side by side, the resemblance is uncanny. But if you say Farquaad in a certain way that I won't say here, so we can say monetized. If you say it a certain way and bend the R,
this episode's already been monetized.
Yeah, but I want to keep the good audience.
It sounds like fuckwad. You can cut that out if you want to. All right, Sheldon, you can open yours now.
But yeah, so he's obviously taking a shot at his boss, and maybe because of that bad blood that they took a shot at Disney throughout the whole movie. I don't know. But this movie is clearly, on the surface, a deconstruction of everything Disney stands for.
Okay, so maybe, I mean, are there more workers that Disney has been mean to like that?
Probably.
Because if that's the case, then those fairy tale creatures could be representative of those workers that Disney has been so mean to.
Because if Farquaad is Eisner, then
you're right.
Those characters.
Well, Thomas, this isn't about what ifs. This is about reality. So Billy Eisner, or whatever you said his name was.
Reality is often disappointing, Jake, to quote another Disney movie.
What movie is that?
Infinity War.
Oh.
So
that's not Disney.
Back into the reality of the film. Farquaad is displacing all of these fairy tale creatures, which I think is arguably gentrification. So for those of you that don't know what
Big words.
For those of you that don't know what gentrification is, it's a very hot button political issue. The definition from Google or Bing, I don't remember what I searched it on. Probably Google. Don't hate me. The definition for gentrification is a process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving houses, attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. And the most important part of that, for the purposes of Shrek, is typically displacing current inhabitants in the process.
So what about all the people that are there now at Duloc?
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Duloc used to be something akin to Far, Far Away in the sequel, which is a land for all fairy tale creatures. But then Farquaad comes in, and all these other people come in, and they have all these prejudices against ogres and giants and anything that does not fit their typical mold of what is normal.
Right.
So they just start getting rid of them and displacing them so they can have their own utopia, for lack of a better word.
Which is not even that nice.
No, it's not nice. Not at all.
It's super empty. It's quiet. Almost too quiet, Thomas.
Well, arguably it was quiet because they were all at the
Yes. Yeah.
But he's definitely getting rid of the fairy tale creatures for a reason. And it's not...
Is it said... Well, Farquaad takes Shrek's land too. Because
he though?
Well, he had to have, because Farquaad basically gives Shrek the deed to his land back.
Well, see, I have a few things about that. So you have the line where the pigs say, he huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice.
Very nice.
Which would seem to imply that Farquaad did specifically move them to the swamp. But then later, it's actually not even that much later. It's a little bit later.
Whoa. Dude, is Farquaad a genius?
Why?
Maybe he planned for Shrek to come along.
Well, all right, hold on. So before we go down that rabbit hole, let me finish my little conspiracy rabbit theory. So shortly after that, Farquaad is interrogating Gingy, which is one of my favorite characters in the Shrek franchise.
Not the gumdrop buttons!
Even though he doesn't have much screen time in this movie, in the second movie, which
we'll get to.
Shrektober, baby. Anyways, Farquaad is interrogating him, and he asks him where the fairy tale creatures are. So I was watching that, and I was thinking, does Farquaad not know that they're in the swamp? Or does he think that Gingy's like some sort of resistance leader, and there's like, say this is like the Holocaust, for example, and he's hiding like Jews in the attic?
Interesting.
So either A, Farquaad doesn't know where the fairy tale creatures are, which wouldn't really make sense, or he's like hunting them down and persecuting them, and for some reason Gingy has the information.
Well, because in the beginning, I mean, they're being sold,
right? So people were turning them in,
right? Oh, interesting. Okay. So Shrek would be a morally ambiguous character in this idea.
He's basically their Christ figure.
Is he, though? I wouldn't say that he is, because the whole purpose of Jesus was he was purposefully sent, whereas Shrek's encounter is happenstance.
And he's reluctant. Well, I did write down at some point in my notes, which is now a bunch of gobbledygook, I wrote down that Shrek rejects the plot, at least for the first act of the film.
Right.
Because you have the storybook thing, which he literally wipes his butt with. And then you also have later, I think he either picks up or he steps on a flyer for all of the fairy tale creatures.
Yeah.
So it's very clear from the beginning that Shrek does not want a place in this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to be left alone.
He's our Han Solo.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. But see, Farquaad hands Shrek back his deed. Like when he goes back and after they have their fight or whatever, he gets handed back like a scroll.
Right, and he does, but could that again, like go back to the gentrification argument that Farquaad just came in and like bought this lump sum of land from whoever had it before. I don't know. And then Shrek's swamp was included in that, and so he just like gave him that piece back.
Okay.
Because the fairy tale creatures are gone when Shrek comes back, but we don't know what happened to them.
That's true. And we don't see many of them in Far, Far Away.
No.
We see Big Bad Wolf, we see the Three Mice, we see Pinocchio
and Gingy.
and Gingy.
Probably the pigs too, I'm not sure.
But I mean there's all these pixies, these fairies. Did Farquaad slaughter?
I think I wrote that.
Because think about what Far, Far Away is. Okay, we can't go there yet. That's Shrek 2. We can't go there yet. We gotta slow down.
There's a few things in here, which I'm like what are the logistics of this world, and is everyone a terrible person? Because Pinocchio gets sold, and it looks like he gets sold by Geppetto.
I assume he does.
The classic myth, Geppetto created Pinocchio.
Yeah.
So that is essentially selling your own child away.
To get, what is he? He gets like 5 shillings?
Yeah, something like that.
Which the talking donkey gets 10 shillings.
Right. So his kid is worth less to him
than a talking donkey. Yeah. I mean,
so
would you rather have, Thomas?
That's wrong. But then also, during the Pina Colada scene, when Farquaad's like choosing between all the people, Cinderella is already a princess. So does that mean that she already had like her story, and that then her prince died?
Well, she's in Far, Far Away.
Because she's not a princess until she gets married to the prince.
Sleeping Beauty's in there too, but I don't know the story of Sleeping Beauty that well. Oh, it's Snow White?
Yeah.
Oh, because Sleeping Beauty is at the swamp.
No, Snow White is at the swamp. They put her on the table.
No.
Yes.
No, that's Sleeping. It's the dwarves.
White. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, but who's in the mirror? Snow White.
Yeah.
But she was also on the table.
Yeah. It would have been much easier for Farquaad to get Snow White. But
I guess he wouldn't have known that they were at the swamp.
See, that's what I'm saying. So like the fairy tale creatures think that he sent them there. Shrek thinks that he sent them there. But I don't think he did. Because when Shrek goes to, like during the bad reputation scene,
yeah,
when Shrek goes there, if you look at the expression on Farquaad's face, it seems like he doesn't know what Shrek is talking about.
Yeah.
And because this is an animated movie, that would have been deliberate.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know. There's a lot of. I'm doing a thing with my hands that y'all can't see.
Okay. Well, let's. So Fiona then is the Pina Colada song, right? But like, what does Fiona actually like? Because it sings. What does the mirror on the wall say about Fiona?
I don't remember. But the only thing I wrote down for that scene is that stereotypically, third is the worst. Because you see, first is the worst. Never mind. Forget I said that.
Third is the one with the treasure chest.
Yeah.
Or hairy chest.
Which, arguably, Fiona has both.
I have.
Day and night.
But it's interesting though that Fiona is like, she's different from all the other 2 princesses, just in the way that they're described. Like Cinderella and Snow White's like, oh, they're little princesses, you know. But Fiona's like drinking alcohol and having a good old time, which I don't know how she would do that if she's locked away in a tower by herself.
Since she was a little baby girl.
Which I want to talk about. I want to talk about this, Thomas. Is she was cursed, right?
Yep. Was
she cursed as an ogre or as a human? I assume as a human.
I think it comes back in the second one because I think it's Fairy Godmother who cursed her.
It is.
But so I would assume as a human.
Okay.
Because King Harold in the second one
was the Toad Prince.
Well, Yes,
the Frog
but
Prince.
he does not like Shrek. The Shrek's an ogre, so I would assume that they wouldn't have given birth to an ogre.
Okay. Well, that's good because that plays into what I want to talk about. Is that they make note of how she's cursed to being an ogre. And so that would further play into like the idea that like ogres are bad and ugly and nobody wants them because who wants to be an ogre, you know? And like not only is Shrek like nobody wants me because I'm an ogre, but Fiona's also like nobody wants me because I'm an ogre.
Right, and that's why Shrek leaves and turns her into Farquaad because he overhears that conversation when she's like, "No one can love me," and he thinks that she's talking about him. So they're both like, "Ah!" And then Hallelujah plays, and it hits you right in the feels, man.
It does.
Which, since that naturally came back up, I'm going to talk about that scene. So, I have written down the dichotomy in all caps.
Okay.
Scene. Which, the way I'm using that word there.
When David played
actually, let me look it up, make sure I'm using it right. All right, so dichotomy is a division or contrast between two things that are represented as being opposed or entirely different. So, what I think I was referring to here is this scene is in direct dichotomy to the opening scene with Shrek, because Shrek is alone, but he's happy.
Right.
In the opening of the film. And a lot of the same shots are used. Like, for instance, he sits at a table by himself and he's like, "Oh, I'm eating my meal, yeah." And he looks in a mirror and the mirror cracks and he's all happy. But in this scene, when the Hallelujah song plays, he looks in the mirror.
It's broken, but he's sad.
Right. And then it kind of transitions into a chandelier in the castle that has Fiona's reflection in it, kind of showing that they were both split and they don't know what they really want.
And at this time, all the fairy tale creatures are gone.
Right. And then you have Shrek sitting at the table alone, and you have Fiona sitting at the table alone, and a few other of these images that show that they're both.
There's some great transitions within this montage, by the way.
Oh, absolutely!
Like the fire and the armor,
and it's kind of showcasing a little bit like the difference in class.
Yeah,
that Fiona would have if she married Farquaad, which is what she thinks she wants. But as we, the audience, know.
That's not what
seen the movie.
That's not her true love.
No, it is not.
Shrek Daddy, her true love. Which, speaking of the transitions, actually, I think that is it shows like the way the transition is very slow. It kind of fades in and out. It's almost like it's trying to portray like how they wish they were present with the other person.
I'd agree with that. And even though Fiona's supposed to be getting married to Farquaad, he's nowhere to be seen in those things. So that just further proves that he does not actually care about her at all, which I doubt anyone had any questions of. But it's just like further cementing that fact.
I think he wanted to have a little fun with her. Because do you remember the scene when he's sitting in his bed?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he look under the covers?
Yeah, he lifts up the covers and he has like a little shy face. Which, see, that's for all you. That's for all you big kids
who think you're too cool.
Right.
I know what you do. You watch Shrek. That's okay. That's what you should be doing.
This is a lull in the conversation. So I just want to say, to get us back on track, I wrote down Shrek is cinema, and Martin Scorsese would be proud.
Isn't there going to be a new Shrek?
Supposedly, it's a reboot, but they're bringing the original cast back.
Okay, well, in the reboot, he has Martin Scorsese eyebrows.
Okay.
I just thought that you should know that.
We'll start a petition to get that going.
No, he already does have Martin Scorsese eyebrows. Does it? In the new one?
Are you talking about the musical?
No, the new one. Shrek 5.
It's not a real movie.
He has... Yes, he does. Look at this.
It's not a real movie.
Not yet. But the reboot. Think about the reboot.
Anyways. Another thing
Look at that.
About... What?
Look at this. Oh, Austin Powers is a screenwriter. Or,
Mike Myers?
Mike Myers. Those are...
That's not real.
Those are...
That's the Grinch's face. Someone just photoshopped the Grinch onto Shrek.
No.
That's what that
is. No, it is. In 2016, Shrek 5 began development with Michael McCullers. Oh, never mind.
Right.
Forget what I was saying.
Exactly. big old dummy. I also wrote down that Dragon is sexually harassing Donkey
Oh, absolutely.
in the castle.
There's no question about it.
Because he does not want a part of that
No.
at all.
Well, and when Shrek falls, his booty hanging out.
And she kisses
his booty.
Which she's
maybe
not happy about.
I mean, I do not think Shrek booty smells pretty good. Or tastes pretty good. But maybe this is like a symbolic representation of kissing Farquaad's booty.
Another thing I think is interesting. Talking about, do you think Shrek probably smells bad? Donkey never finds Shrek repulsive. But when he walks in on Fiona as the ogre, he freaks out. And like she's the most ugly thing that he's ever seen. Which could be kind of showing that they're demonstrating the double standard of male beauty versus female beauty.
But see, I don't know if I can agree with that though, because I mean at the end of the film, Shrek's like, I think you're beautiful.
Yeah, but he's also an ogre.
Your donkey's a donkey.
Yeah, but that's what it's like. Donkey, Fiona and Shrek look the same,
but one's a girl and one's.
But Donkey was like repulsed to see Fiona in her ogre form. But he never had a problem with Shrek.
When Farquaad first sees Shrek, is he like, bleh? Or is he like?
Yeah, because he's like, oh, it's so hideous, and then Shrek's like, he's only a donkey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the donkey's like, what are you talking about? He's not a donkey. You know what else everybody loves? Parfait.
Dude, ogres are like layers, which he does not elaborate on that.
No, because he doesn't want to.
I don't think that it's not that he doesn't want to. I don't think he thinks he can.
You don't think? Wait, what?
I don't think Shrek thinks he can, because Shrek in the very beginning of the film, Shrek's like, I don't need any friends.
Right.
He does, but he is afraid to make friends because he knows he's going to get rejected. But if that were true, then why would he save Donkey?
When in the castle?
In the very beginning.
Does he
why would
save
he go?
Donkey?
Yeah.
I think he just enjoys, making fun of the humans.
Maybe. But then he goes on to walk and talk with Donkey, which then at that point, I wrote this down, but I don't have my journal. Shrek's like, they think I'm disgusting. And Donkey's like, well, I don't think you're disgusting. And Shrek goes, really? Like he's so touched that Donkey's not immediately repulsed by him like you were saying.
That's all it takes.
So that now he's got like this friend. But he don't want to get too close because he knows that they're going to reject them. But then we go to the house, Shrek's swamp, and Shrek could have easily been like, scram, get out of here. But he doesn't. He is like...
The donkey?
Yeah. He's like, go away. But he's not like, go away!
He doesn't let him inside.
No, but he doesn't make him leave. And then Donkey goes with him on a journey. And they go to Duloc, and they take the picture, and they're like... If what I'm doing is I'm making the face that Shrek makes when he goes like that.
It's a beautiful face.
Just imagine. There it is again. And they're there, and then they fight together. And then so we see this building of a relationship where Shrek is like comfortable with being with somebody. So he does want friends, Thomas. So it's not that he doesn't want to. It's that he doesn't think he can. And then he's finally comfortable with Donkey under the moonlight. And they talk about it. And Shrek opens up for the very first time in the film. Shrek opens up.
Do you remember what he says? Because I do not.
I already said it earlier.
Yeah.
People judge me before they know me.
And then you see Fiona peeking in the background. And then
as a little ogre.
And then the next morning she kills a bird.
With her voice.
Right. Which, speaking of Fiona killing people, she totally killed Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah.
Because his head smacked into that rock super hard.
Oh yeah.
Even though he's at their wedding at the end, that wasn't the real Robin Hood. He's dead.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Oh,
He doesn't say anything, but he's there.
that's because he's a Force ghost.
So, or maybe she just like lobotomized him by slamming him on a
Oh
rock.
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
And now it
No,
is
he's a
who
Force
he is.
ghost. He's a Force ghost. But I do want to talk about Fiona too. She's the same way. It's a maybe. So maybe
That's why they're true love.
maybe you're talking about like gentrification and all that stuff. But this movie also just kind of talks about how we're all the same.
Deep down.
Deep down, we're all the same. Even if we are green and smelly, or Cameron Diaz,
Or a donkey.
or Donkey. Well, yeah,
Unless you're
yeah.
Farquaad.
Unless you're Farquaad. But I mean, even then, like Farquaad dies. Farquaad is the only death we see,
He gets eaten by a dragon.
and then the dragon burps at his crown. But he's the only death we see. So maybe, okay. So maybe it's about we're all the same, right? I said that. But how like when we try to live in these idealistic virtues of like being king and all that, that's when we're the weakest.
I spaced out. I heard what you said, but I spaced out.
Do you want me to say it again?
No.
Did you hear? Did you understand?
Yeah, you said like you're the king, and then you're like, I got stuff. I don't need you stuff.
And then that's when you're at your weakest.
Yeah, but why? Why so? So why is that your weakest?
Because it is not your true self. You're trying to achieve something that doesn't matter. And so, like, being king does not matter. I mean, maybe it matters to Farquaad, but why would it matter to Farquaad? For power, right? But at the end of the day, even if you have all the power, even if you're a king, how are you going to stop a dragon from eating you? How are you going to stop a dragon from swooping and eating you? You can't. So even if he does have all this power, it doesn't matter. He's going to get chomped on by a girl dragon.
So speaking of Farquaad, I don't know how I didn't think of this earlier. I just looked up Napoleon Complex because he's like a textbook case.
Okay.
But so Napoleon Complex, again from Google, is a theorized inferiority complex normally attributed to people of short stature, Farquaad. It is characterized by overly aggressive and domineering social behavior, such as lying about earnings, and carries the implication that such behavior is compensatory. He's compensating for something, for the subject's physical or social shortcomings.
Shortcomings.
So he obviously doesn't have social shortcomings. Well, he's not a king. He's just a
He's
lord.
not. But also, I mean, think about, number 3 guy and all those people holding up like signs as like cues for what to do.
Those are for the people.
Well, exactly. But like, where does his social life exist?
In the bed.
Does it?
Alone.
With him and Lil Farquaad?
Yeah. But
like, I mean, when you think about like good kings or good monarchs or whatever, they're like in touch with their people. Their social life is their society. Like Farquaad doesn't have that.
So he's actually a lot similar to Arthur, King of the Britons, in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes.
He's out of touch.
Maybe.
Which, if he's out of touch, might be why
he's made of wood.
He's sending away the fairy tale creatures. Because they don't fit in his idealized model.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, you mentioned the Holocaust earlier. I mean, if we talk about the Aryan race, I mean, they didn't fit in with what the ideal life was. Or the Jews didn't fit into the ideal Aryan life.
Gotcha. I agree.
Dude, Shrek is World War II.
Shrek is World War III.
No, it's not.
Yeah. He's coming for us.
Is Shrek the Simpsons?
Shrek is coming for us. Ow.
I'm sorry. I just dropped scissors on Thomas's foot on accident.
God. This podcast is going to kill me. So, speaking of Farquaad, I wrote down that miscommunication is the real villain.
Okay.
First of all, Farquaad's not really in the movie a lot, so you can just
He's
forget,
not.
you can just forget about him.
He's only in when we see Shrek. He's only in it twice, 3 times.
But the true antagonist, much like Chicken Little, is not understanding those around you. So Shrek, as we talked about, thinks that no one will understand or love him. Therefore, he pushes everyone away.
Based on an assumption.
Right,
Now,
right,
well. Based on very quick interactions with different people. So not necessarily an assumption.
Human, I would assume, or most human.
Yeah.
But then, so the scene where this all kind of comes to a head is, of course, the scene where Fiona is talking about, oh, how could you ever love something so ugly? And like Shrek is walking up with a flower, being like, hey, I'll love you because you're pretty and this flower's pretty and blah, blah, blah. And then he hears her say that. And then he goes against Farquaad. So all I mean, we've basically like touched on this all throughout the episode. But for all of Shrek's life, he has never been loved. Which, now that I'm saying that, where's his parents? Where's Mommy Shrek and Daddy Shrek?
I don't know. Do we ever see Mommy and Daddy
Do
Shrek?
ogres hate their children? I guess we'll get into that
I think
in Shrek the Third.
Yeah. I think they talk about that.
But yeah, so Shrek and Fiona are never on the same wavelength. The closest they get to it is when they're eating the weed rats. But then Donkey comes in.
And he almost asked her on a date, dude.
Which also, so they almost kiss in that scene. All right, Shrek's got a big mouth. If him and Fiona kissed, would he like eat her head? That's what I was thinking in that scene.
Are you gonna eat that?
So, I think Fiona's head would fit in Shrek's mouth. That's what I want to see in the new one.
Shrek 5?
Yeah, Shrek needs to eat Fiona.
Okay. Okay. All right, Dreamworks.
Chop chop.
Make it happen.
We know you're listening to this.
Okay, what were you saying?
That was probably the end. I don't know.
Okay. You got anything else?
Yeah, you want to talk about All Star?
Yes.
All right. So I said in the beginning of the episode I would.
All right, let me start this off. All right, because I had some thoughts about All Star. So, the very first few lines, somebody was telling me the world was going to roam me. I answer absolute shit. Right. I mean, obviously, it's talking about like not being the best and being kind of trashy, right? Not trashy like white trash, but trashy isn't like kind of just bad, you know? And Shrek's just kind of bad, right? Or at least he thinks he's kind of bad. But Shrek embraces it, baby.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I don't think he embraces it in a healthy way. I think he embraces it in a way that he has to embrace it because that's all he's ever known.
Yeah, he lets it absorb his identity. Kind of like, as we discussed, again, in Megamind, he thinks he has to be the supervillain just because that's what he's always been taught.
And that's what the people have told him he is.
And this is actually a theme, like you said earlier, is in How to Train Your Dragon, a theme that this goes throughout a lot of DreamWorks movies. You know, you have Kung Fu Panda, where Po is like, oh, you're just a stupid fat panda.
No, I'm the big fat panda.
And then you have, in the B movie, Barry's parents are like, you can't date a human?
You like jazz?
And then there's probably other movies.
What movies has DreamWorks done?
They did Shark Tale, which I have not seen in a very long time.
I forgot about that.
One Scorsese's in that.
At the car wash here.
But,
Madagascar.
Does that fit thematically?
Yeah.
I don't remember what my
because whoa. Ooh. I'm breaking my brain a little bit. Well, because in Madagascar they want to be wild, and they are wild animals, but they're in the zoo.
Alex doesn't want to be wild.
You're right.
Because he likes being worshipped.
But he does. But he is wild. So he.
Okay, so that movie breaks the mold, probably.
Oh, Over the Hedge?
Because it goes against his
Turbo,
natural instincts.
Rise of the Guardians, El Dorado. What? Monsters vs. Aliens.
All right, back to All-Star.
Prince of Egypt. Chicken Run.
Back to All Star.
Okay.
Do you have more, or can I go?
Flushed
now?
away.
Back to All Star.
And they don't stop coming.
Okay, then I'll talk now. So so as I said earlier, all the songs in this film perfectly line up with the scene that they play during. And of course, All Star plays during the very beginning, the opening scene of Shrek, when he's being himself, bathing in the swamp water, breaking a mirror, brushing his teeth, eating a dinner all alone, but he's happy.
Earwax candle.
So like Jake said, All Star is about being yourself. And I don't think he said this line, but there's the line, so what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't glow.
All that glitters is green, baby.
So what I think that line is trying to say is like, so what? So who cares what everyone else thinks? Take the back streets if you want to take the back streets, you know? You never know if you don't do it. And then you'll be like, man, I don't know. I didn't do it. And you'll never shine if you don't glow. So you just got to go for it, man.
Well, but I don't think Shrek has ever gone for it yet.
But he does in the end.
He does in the end. And it plays at the end, right?
No,
It doesn't?
I'm a Believer plays at the end.
Okay. I thought you said
Which that song was only chosen because he says, I thought love was only true in fairy tales.
But not for me.
I could probably sing that whole song.
I think that, whoa, glowing things usually have a green tint. You ever think about that?
No.
Well, think about that.
No.
Oh, okay. No, I agree with that. But yeah, I think that it plays more into like, I think Shrek thinks he is glowing though.
In the beginning, yeah.
I think he is.
But then through his interactions with Donkey, and Donkey keeps being like, man, why don't you wait, everybody? And then Shrek's like, so Donkey is basically pushing Shrek so far.
This is Onion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That Shrek, well, just throughout the whole movie, but yeah, it starts in that scene. He's pushing Shrek so far that Shrek has to reckon with his own inner demons.
Right. The layers of inner demons.
You know what else has layers? Cake! And everybody loves cake!
Ogres are like onions. And onions are stinky, just like ogres.
That's what he meant.
That's exactly what he meant. Wait, no. Oh, Donkey says that.
Yeah. Well, that's what he meant. We know.
Yeah.
Donkey's he's got.
But dude, ogres do
brain.
have layers. I mean, think about what we see in Shrek. We see him be angry. We see him be happy. We see him be sad. We see him be in love.
One of my favorite things about Shrek is throughout the movie, he's constantly making jokes that no one laughs at except for him. Like when they get to the castle and he goes, I think he's compensating for something.
And then he laughs real hard.
Yeah, and Donkey's like,
okay.
And then he says, there's another
better out than in, I always say.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I forgot about that. So that's another thing. I'll come back to All Star a little bit because I got more to say about that. But since Jake said better out than in, I always say, I think there's more to that. Obviously,
Shrek believes it's better in than out.
Yes, but he's talking about a burp in that scene.
Yes.
But it's not about the burp, right? So if Shrek is, I say it with me now, about self-discovery,
woo!
Then in order for Shrek to discover himself, he needs to come out, if you will.
Of the swamp.
So it's better out than in, because if you keep your identity in yourself, you're not really being yourself. You got to let it out so you can be your true self and be free.
That's right. And that's why Fiona didn't turn into a hot, stunning babe. She turned into an ogre. Because that's who she truly is. And maybe I might think she's ugly on the outside, but like Shrek said, you are beautiful.
Okay, but back to All Star. This is kind of derailing from Shrek a little bit, but I was looking at the lyrics of the song thinking, what does this mean? So, I think All Star is telling us the world is ending, but I don't really care. And I don't think this has any thing to do with Shrek, but it's in the song, so I'm talking about it. He says, "My world's on fire. How about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored." So first of all, if your world is on fire, get a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Because that's not good.
Or some swamp mud.
Yeah, that'll probably put it out. But he says, that's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored. So obviously the guy in the song, Mr. Smash Mouth.
Okay, let me stop right there, because I totally think that it does have to do with Shrek. Because like you're talking about reconciling with your own self. I mean, if you're always keeping your world on fire, if you're always distracting yourself, you never have time to look inwards.
Yes.
And so Shrek never does look inwards because he's always distracting himself with scaring off folks and making signs and stuff. But like you said, when Donkey asks him that question, he now has to do that.
Yeah, Shrek likes to say mentally preoccupied, so he doesn't have to face the facts that he hates himself. And that's why it's better out than in, which we just said.
Yeah.
So, third thing All-Star is about.
Which is why it's so hard for him to believe that Fiona loves him. Third thing that All-Star is about.
Breaking down the system. It's my favorite part in the song. And we could all use a little change. So, since it's my favorite part of the song.
That's the second movie.
But since it's my favorite part of the song, I'm actually going to say it. But I got to look up the lyrics so I can make sure I got it right. Okay. Here we go. Somebody once asked, could I spare some change for gas? I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yep, what a concept. I could use a little fuel myself. And we could all use a little change. So, obviously, in that context of the song, sounds like he's talking about gas. But what he's really talking about is change overall. So,
inner gas.
And that plays late in the song. So the song begins with him being like, hey, just do whatever you want. Take the back streets. All that glitters is gold. But then he talks about how the world is in chaos. And he's okay with that.
Is Smash Mouth guy a lyrical genius?
And then he says we could all use a little change. So the song All-Star, which all you guys have been memeing on, saying, and it don't stop coming until the end of time. It's a great song, first of all. Stop saying it don't stop coming. I like this song. But it's got a 3-act structure, man.
And what do all great stories need?
3-act structure.
That's right.
So we could all use a little change. You got to change. Shrek changes over the course of this film because he comes out and decides that he is an ogre. Oh, I wrote this down. He's ugly and he's proud.
I'm ugly and I'm proud. What's that from?
SpongeBob.
Okay.
So he's ugly and he's proud. Fiona's ugly and she's proud. But to them, they are beautiful because they are beautiful. And your outside appearance doesn't matter, despite what other people may say to you. You, listener, listening to this right now,
you are beautiful.
Don't forget it. So that's the life lesson of Shrek.
Well, and speaking of gas, what is gas, Thomas?
Farts.
That's right. Farts go out. And not in. So you need that little bit of gas to go out so that you can move forward. That stank propels you.
It moves you forward.
That's right.
So Jake, that's all the analysis I have for Shrek. If you have anything more, go ahead. If not,
I mean, Shrek is a rom-com. It's got raunchy comedy. It's got our main character in the beginning who is happy, but we know he's not. It's got our unbelievably hot lead, Fiona.
Donkey.
Oh, Farquaad.
This would be so much easier if I wasn't colorblind.
Fiona. We've got our antagonist.
Miscommunication.
We've got our miscommunication. We've got our buddy who's trying to get the main character with the girl and be like, you stupid. Get with the girl. Then we have...
You got to hold her. Please her. You got a little tenderness. Sorry if we just broke your speakers.
We've got the montage in the beginning where they're falling in love. We got the scene where they're in love but won't say it. We've got the montage when they break each other's hearts.
Bro, and then Shrek's got to run and get the girl. Like they always do have to, like they got to run to the airport.
In the rom-com. Exactly. And then we have a happy ever after.
And then in the second one, you meet the parents.
So,
but we'll talk about that later.
Shrek is rom-com.
Are you ready? You ready for some?
No, I need you to.
No, yes, I agree.
Okay, all right.
You ready for some super slimy
A late
trivia?
night rom-com.
Yes.
Yeah, hit me up with that trivia.
So, according to Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. The number one reliable source on the internet.
My favorite boy in the world, Nicolas Cage, was initially offered the role of Shrek, but he turned it down because he did not want to look like an ogre. So he obviously didn't read the script. He does not understand the point of this movie.
He doesn't. And honestly, that kind of hurts a little bit.
Nicolas Cage! What happened?
I'm in a lot of pain right now.
What the heck?
Nick, bro.
Okay, hold on. I just read on the Wikipedia page. It says, during production, animators who failed while working on other projects, such as The Prince of Egypt, were often sent to work on Shrek. The reassignment was known as being Shreked and being sent to the gulag.
Okay.
I hope that's true.
See, you want to look like a fiery schoolboy, but you won't look like a massive green beautiful ogre.
This guy's still the Declaration of Independence. He was busy.
Oh.
But anyways, another bit of casting trivia. This is more well known. Chris Farley actually originally voiced Shrek, but died before he could complete all of his lines. So Mike Myers was brought in to replace him, and Mike Myers recorded the whole movie. But then he was like, you know what? I should have done that with a Scottish accent. So
and
then
he re-recorded.
He redid the whole entire movie with a Scottish accent. And honestly, it's much better for it.
I mean, could you imagine Shrek being anything else?
No. And like I'm glad Nicolas Cage turned it down, even though, come on, man. The biggest mistake of
I'm
your
a
life.
cat. I'm a sexy cat.
So, like, Nicolas Cage is actually, you know what? He's in The Croods later, which is a Dreamworks movie.
Oh, he's the dad, isn't he?
Yeah. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I could see him as Shrek. I mean, obviously the delivery would be different, but I could see it with the lines in this movie. Now, as far as the franchise goes forward, it's Mike Myers. It's always Mike Myers.
Oh yeah, baby.
So I feel like I had a little more trivia, but now I don't remember what it was.
Did you know
that
Shrek isn't actually green, but that we're actually watching the film from Donkey's point of view?
And he's colorblind?
Yeah.
This would be so much easier if I wasn't colorblind.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Wait, I kind of want to watch Shrek in black and white now.
And make it a noir?
Yeah.
A rom-com noir? Oh, here we go. Shrek premiered at the Cannes Film Festival.
Did it win anything?
I don't know. Let's see. But apparently it was the first animated film since Peter Pan.
Which 1953. Was... What? And come on. That's how we know Shrek is good.
All right, let me see. Accolades. It competed for the Palme d'Or, which is like the highest prize at Cannes.
At Cannes, yeah.
It did not win that.
What won it that year?
Oh. Shrek won the first ever Academy Award for Best Animated Feature.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, see? Shrek is a perfect movie.
It is. It's a perfect movie, and the second one is even better somehow.
We'll get it. We'll look at that. I'll have to rewatch it, and this time really focus. Because we had this discussion with James. We had a discussion with James about which movie was better. So we'll talk about that next week.
2001, The Sun's Room won the Palme d'Or.
And how many of you have seen The Sun's Room?
All of them. All of our listeners.
Well, I was trying to make a point that Shrek was better.
It's called Le Stanza del Figlio, because it's Italian.
Le Stanza del Figlio?
Which, Shrek's Italian, if you want him to be.
Shrek is Italian.
All right, everyone. At the end of this episode, Google Italian Shrek. You'll thank me later.
You'll thank me later, Thomas.
But that's all I've got. Jake, you got something else?
I don't. Shrek is a perfect movie. Shrek's a rom-com.
Shrek is lean. Shrek is green. Shrek is mean.
No, he's not.
Shrek is not mean.
Shrek is a big old softy with a huge heart. That doesn't rhyme
with green.
Shrek is a lean, green, loving machine.
There we go. That's it. So, if you want to let us talk to us, Jake will.
If you want to let us talk to us, Usually I have to ask my mom first. She says yes most of the time, except if it's Thursday, because Friday morning I have to go take karate. So if it's any other day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, you can hit us up over at Google or whatever email, pachinopodcast@gmail.com. Or you can tweet us on Twitter at Pachinopod. Just let us know if you think Shrek is a perfect movie. And the answer better be it is, because it is. Okay?
Name one thing that you would change about Shrek. The answer is nothing.
And if you say something about it, you're wrong. If you're excited for more Shrektober, let us know. Make sure to leave a comment. Give us a juicy 5-star on whatever platform you're listening. And if you want to say hey, let us know.
What do you think about Shrek?
Yeah. Tell us what you think about Shrek.
Do you think he's not green?
Because Donkey's colorblind and we're watching it from his point of view?
Because he is.
All right.
Sounds sauerkraut.
Dude, I have bumpy shins.